Almost all of us can deal with the daily requirements of our jobs. Look, you have certain things you need to do every day or every week or every year, and most of us can handle these things pretty well. If we didn't, we wouldn't have jobs. Then we also have some of those special projects that are assigned to us by others. Sometimes we like them, sometimes we don't. And really, unless those assigning those projects are unreasonable idiots, we can usually handle these too. Okay, it takes a little extra effort and focus, and we gotta be good managers of our time. But what messes us up isn't usually the daily requirements of our jobs or even those special projects. It's the cyclone. The cyclone is the thing that comes at us from every direction. It's like one of those vacuums that sucks things up and spins them around at 1,000,000 miles an hour and then spits them out the bottom into the trash. It's the emails, it's the text, it's the phone calls, it's the meetings. And then there's the guy in the hallway who walks by and says, "Hey, can you remember to do this for me?" So how do you sort that all out? Which email gets your attention? And is that the right one? Should you be stopping what you're doing and paying attention to this email? Which voicemail do you ignore or do you put off for 3 or 4 days? Is that a good idea? Look, everybody in business knows what it is to lay in bed at night and think about all the to-dos on your task list that you just didn't get to. Those are the things that drive you nuts. So here's the deal. The cyclone isn't going to adjust for you. It isn't going to go away, and it won't even diminish. Even if you're mildly successful in your job, it's going to get bigger. If you're really successful in your job, it's going to get a lot bigger. Your only realistic option is to learn to control it. And if you don't, it's going to blow you way off course. It's going to eat you alive. So how do you control it? Well, there's a pretty simple strategy for doing this, and it's called the decision tree. Every single part of the cyclone demands a decision, and ignoring them won't help. Getting control of the cyclone means that you have to have places to put things. They have to go where they're supposed to go, and that's what we're looking to do. So you're sitting at your desk and an email comes in. Your first decision is to determine what it is. If it's junk, then dump it. Some emails should go right into your trash box. If you leave them there, they just add to the clutter. Once you've sorted out what's junk and what's not junk, then you can start thinking about the things you need to do, the actions you need to take. And of course, there are different kinds of actions, something we're going to call the 8 S's. The first S is to suspend. This is an email that you may someday possibly do something with. It's not junk. It's one step above. There are lots of ways to organize this, but a pretty simple one is to create an email folder called For Later. Put this stuff in there. You can review it when you have a few minutes, but remember that nothing urgent should go into that folder. The second S is to store. These are emails that have information that you need. Not today, there's no action required, but you want to hang on to them because they might contain some information that you'll need later. By the way, it's helpful to have email folders to help you find what you need when you need it. So store it properly. The third S is to slide. Look, a lot of the things that come into your inbox can be given to other people, delegated to other people. If it's something that requires action, then you got to stop and ask yourself, am I the right person to do this? Or is there maybe another person that I should hand this off to? Delegate quickly and then move on. The fourth S is simple. These are things that require a very quick response, yes or no. They can be resolved in 15 seconds or 30 seconds, okay, a max of 60 seconds. If it's something simple, take action and file it. Don't let it add to the cyclone or become something that's going to distract you from tasks that are much more important at the time. The fifth S is schedule. Now, all of us get requests for meetings. It's part of being in business. But not all meetings are created equal. So you get a meeting request. Somebody wants to spend an hour with you. When do you schedule that meeting? You've already got a busy week. Do you stick it in here, in this week? Or do you put it off? It's important to weigh what needs to be done right now versus what can be done later. If the meeting can happen in 2 weeks and it's not a required action, then schedule it for later. The sixth S is steps. Some emails are important and aren't simple. They don't require a simple yes or no. There's going to be a series of steps that you need to take. Maybe you need to set up a bunch of meetings, or maybe you need to set up a team. You can't give a yes or no to this. If you've decided that you need to take action and that the action is going to require a bunch of steps or a bunch of meetings or maybe putting a team together, then put it in a projects email folder. Now that's one you're going to want to review frequently and then take action as you need to. The seventh S is stew. Some emails require more thought. It's not a simple yes or no. It's not a scheduling thing. It's not stepping things out. It's something you really need to think about. Something you need to stew on a little bit. Maybe it would be helpful if you reread this email at the end of the day, or maybe in a couple of days, after you've had a chance to stew on it. This is especially true with emotionally charged emails. When we respond to an emotionally charged email, we usually don't make things better, and sometimes we just say something stupid. It's amazing how sometimes a little bit of time gives you more perspective or enables you to see something you hadn't seen before. Sometimes it's important to stew. The eighth S is stop. Sometimes an email requires our immediate attention, and it's significant enough that we ought to stop what we're doing and we should give it our full attention. This is the email you get when your calendar is full for the day and you've got meetings all scheduled and you just found out that the boiler just blew up. Okay, you don't need to go to your meetings. You need to fix the boiler. These are things that take precedent over everything else in your day. It's important to remember that this should be a really limited category, because the temptation is we get an email and we think we need to respond to this immediately. We need to stop what it is we're doing, the progress that we're making, and we need to handle this. That's a terrible idea. This ought to be a limited category so that we avoid the temptation of letting every email and every text and every phone call creep in to this category. This should be a very limited category. There should only be a handful of these a week, maybe even in a month. The further you move down the list of 8 S's, the fewer emails you should have. And this same approach can be taken with phone calls, with texts, and with tasks that come up during meetings. The guy that walks up to you in the hallway and says, "Hey, can you remember to do this?" You can tell that guy, "Not now," or, "You know what, come back to me in a few days," or, "Yeah, I'll get it scheduled, but it won't be for a couple of weeks." Learn to use the 8S system. Do not let the cyclone overwhelm you. Get it under control.